I had to buy Disney Plus for this.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, just did a monthly, $5.99.
Had to.
I thought I had to, just had to. I couldn't find a decent rip-off of it, essentially. But I thought, okay, I can finally watch The Mandalorian and Hamilton just after it because become problematic.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Or at least noticeably problematic. So, great, I can do that.
Yeah, nice.
I mean, I already have all of the Marvel movies, all of the Star Wars movies, all the Disney animated ones I want, really, and Simpsons 3 through 7, which is good Simpsons. So, let's see what the main page has got for me. Maleficent 1 and 2.
Okay.
Percy Jackson.
The Lightning Thief.
Did you know there was a 2? There is.
I do now.
John Carter. Didn't make a 2 of that. Ooh, all of the Ice Ages. I believe some of those are good, I think I heard.
I'd say stick with the first one. Probably.
Fantastic. Look forward to that first one. Yeah, do you ever... It reminds me of being on, like, a bad flight. When you're flipping through and it's like...
EasyJet long haul.
I might just read.
I think I'll just take the Valium now.
I might take over the plane. They do have a little section called Black Stories, and I don't think it's working in quite the way that Disney hopes it would. Because really what it's saying is, we haven't told a lot of black stories.
So it's what? The Frog and...
Yeah, Frog and the Princess and Black Panther.
Frog and the Princess and Black Panther. Oh yeah, of course. That is very much like... I don't know, that like saying that Black Panther is a Disney black story. It's kind of like getting a guy, like a black guy to move in with you and being like, yeah, we're a black household, everyone.
Just the one guy there. Yay. I mean, they've got Remember the Titans. Do you remember the Titans?
I don't not remember the Titans. Is that Disney? Is that Disney?
Yeah, it was
property?
Disney. They've plastered that Disney logo right above the title.
A Disney post hoc finding black stories and then purchasing the companies so that they can then say...
They're touching the lives.
Which is one better than Rowling's doing, I suppose.
Yeah. I think that was a real guy, so I think they've purchased the life of that person in order to call this one of their black stories. Wrinkle in Time, the poorly received Ava DuVernay film that I remember it having ideas, at least. And Sister Act 1 and 2.
A classic Disney story.
It's all very good. They do have Free Solo, though, so it's not all bad.
Okay. Hey, look, it's not a black story.
It's not. Oh, yeah, it's definitely not.
But it's not a whack story.
Oh, look at this guy! That's right, you're listening to a black podcast. Hello and welcome to One Good Thing, the podcast that has all sorts of mystical beings fleeing our rapacious appetite. I'm Paul Appetite.
I'm following your social cues.
That's my excuse. It's all his fault. In the last of our trilogy focusing on the worst of 2020, or at least the early bit of it, you know what? I just can't help but think of all the terrible movies that passed us by.
Oh. COVID. Look at what you have wrought.
COVID. You pass through this night. Yeah, we are opening wide our moors and shoveling in Kenneth Branagh's adaptation of Artemis Fowl.
Fuck yeah.
Authorities launched a worldwide manhunt for the famous collector. He is suspected to have been behind some of the biggest robberies ever.
Dad. Hello? Your family has taken something of great value from us. Return it to me or I will destroy everything you love.
You weren't supposed to see this yet. Your father is in a complicated profession. For years, he has protected powerful secrets that have kept mankind safe from the dangers of another world. It's time to face your destiny.
Everyone wanted this.
Yippity fuck yeah, you're getting it right now. Now, I had a quick look over the production history, but saw the name Weinstein a few times, so I decided to stop. But this does seem to be the last film that he was involved in before they jailed the abusive prick, so maybe he'll stop popping up in our production notes soon.
Yeah, great. This is a difficult one because this has been in production for 78 years.
That's
so
true.
This is always going to have his name on it.
It has involved everyone, both angel and demon alike. Speaking of angels, I will say that at one stage Saoirse Ronan was involved to play Holly Short, and yeah, I can see that. That would have been... I think it could have been interesting casting, but probably would have still been controversial because apparently, and it's worth pointing out probably at this stage that neither of us have read Artemis Fowl or any of his adventures. Yeah. Apparently Holly Short in the books is black. And Butler, who is portrayed by black British actor Nonso Alonzi in this, is Eurasian in the books and can pass for Japanese and Russian. I mean, that's not right.
I mean,
Irish author.
Like the most proper Eurasia. Probably still not Japan, because they would know. Because you don't look 100% Japanese, so therefore you don't belong here.
We're talking about Far East Russia, right? We're talking about Novolostok or whatever the fuck it's called. Vladivostok.
Yeah, it's when you go there and there's Hansa on the signs and Chinese workers running around.
The bits that Europeans used to draw dragons on and just say, do not go here.
Yeah, they go all the way there, draw a dragon on it, slap someone on the ass, and then they go home.
Fuck yeah, Europeans, everyone. Living in America. It's not great, but this is the last time that we're going to be able to blame Harvey Weinstein for it, so we're going to have to fix our hearts or find a new monster. Now, I've got this from IMDb, and you know how I feel about IMDb, and it's barren wasteland of unaccountable information. But I happened upon this in the trivia, and it's pretty good.
Do share.
In the books, Artemis starts out as a villainous mastermind and anti-hero, and slowly regains his sense of morality over the course of the series. Director Kenneth Branagh stated in interviews that he couldn't envision an audience unfamiliar with the books identifying with an 11-year-old Bond villain. Then you weren't right for the job!
That's literally what you had to do.
That's literally your job.
Imagine if Christopher Nolan would have gone, no, I'm never going to make time travel feasible to the general audience. Let's just do Memento 2. I remember everything.
That's the sting at the end of the Memento 2 trailer. Now I remember everything. But it'd be like him saying, I just didn't think people would be able to identify with a man who dresses up as a bat and fights crime, so he doesn't do that. Yeah. It's like, gotta find the humanity in there, not just not do it.
I could never have written an entire book about the Russian War and Peace movement. It would not be... Where am I from? It's your job to realise the unique. Tell us the truth here. Kenneth.
Do a thing.
Instead, at the end, he just has him say it. I'm a criminal mastermind.
Didn't you notice? Huh. I forgot to say earlier. That's the only thing I forgot to say earlier.
Because I said a lot. Did Josh Gad not say it?
he was meant to. It was in his notes. Oh, sorry. And he pulls out like fucking 10 copies of War and Peace notes he had to do. I thought I said it about 2 hours ago. Anyway, on to our critic section, which is rapidly becoming Clarice's Corner, because we've got Clarice Loughrey again from The Independent.
Oh, great.
And in her 2-star review, she said, Judi Dench makes Disney's latest fantasy romp a future guilty pleasure. The mischievous glint in her eyes is the film's only nod to irony and self-awareness. Now, I disagree on guilty pleasure, but I do like that it seems to be Laurie's Loughry's MO to gravitate towards a few good performances in these shite films. Perhaps she is an OG Tia, and she just doesn't know it, and you mustn't tell her. It's too late for us.
Please.
Don't make her live this life.
No, but also please don't take this life away from us. Because she's got The Independent. She has this as well. What's left for us? The Paulboys.
Maybe we could become the really confrontational film critics at the fucking Daily Mail, going around asking people to justify their disgusting behaviour in articles written beneath tits.
We'd at least fit in with the other left-wing journalists who work there.
Who were right for pay. Yeah. Love it. Anyway, the public weren't having it either. Now, let me just see if I can find a Google review that doesn't talk about it in the context of the books. Artemis Fowl remains one of my favourite books. Based on the books, more like... Oh, no. If you've read the books... Nope. I'm honestly surprised I managed to finish the film. They should have stuck to the... So for those of you who have read the book... If you were hoping for a witty and live-action rendition of the book... This movie is so far removed from the... If you're a fan of the... I used to fuck these books nightly. There's nothing in here.
Oh, my review got on there. I never read it, but they're surprisingly warm.
Sharp pages.
They hold a lot of
1
liquid.
star. Oh, Christ. Well, look, I haven't...
Didn't even finish with a reach around.
Reach around page. We haven't finished the books. We haven't finished. We haven't started. We haven't gotten anywhere with the books, really. So maybe that's the only problem with it. And it's actually a really good standalone film if you think about it without the books.
Fresh eyes.
Fresh eyes.
Fresh head.
Yep. Come on.
Why not?
Fresh
Paul,
eyes.
are you feeling fresh?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
Get it in me. Let's find out about it.
It's midnight.
It's midnight, full of energy. Let's talk about Threeman. That's the responsible thing to do next.
Oh, good.
Judi Dench is a Threeman because of Cats. And her deleted cameo in Run for Your Wife, which I do think counts because she deserves the infamy.
She did say yes to Run for Your Wife.
She did say yes to that.
She said, "Who's in it? Rolf Harris." Oh, brilliant! Yeah, I'll be in that.
Order me a cab. I'll go now. Now, after that, we have 2 3-men, a 4-man, and a 6-man.
Ooh.
All 4 of these people all appeared in The Crimes of Grindelwald and The Last Night. So, I guess it's fucking time for a game of crimes or primes. I finally did it. I found a catchy name for one of these pieces of shit.
Crime or primes? Crime or primes?
Crime or primes?
Chappy is primes.
Chappy is primes. Let's start with Bernardo Santos. Where did he play? Was it in Crimes of Grindelwald or The Last Night? Crimes or primes? Where did he play Muggle?
I think this is a trick question because he's got the kind of name of somebody who would appear in a Michael Bay film, Paul.
He has been in
and
both.
I think Muggle.
He's definitely been in
Muggle's
both.
just like the name of a dog, and he was the voice of it, and he was like, "Oh, nice titties, lady," or something. You know, Michael Bay films are like.
He was talking to Anthony Hopkins.
Is it the one that Muggles are in? The Harry Potter one?
Yeah, it's the Harry Potter one.
Nice.
In The Last Night, he played Oxford College student. Now, let's talk about Tom Dabb.
Tom Dabb?
In which did he play German soldier? Was it a crime or a prime?
Crime or prime? That's a good question.
Crime or prime is a good question.
Now, in the primes, the battle. God, there's always soldiers in a Michael Bay movie, isn't there? But was he a medieval?
Usually sexual American ones.
Yeah, that's true. Josh Duhamel.
Fuck yeah.
Don't you know who I am? He probably said that. They all do. Oh, German soldier. I'm just thinking Crimes of Grindelwald, there wasn't any, like, sequence in Ypres.
No, but if you remember, one of the Crimes of Grindelwald was to show all of the wizards a vision of the Second World War.
Fuck. Oh, you're right. You're really right.
That was a crime he did.
Oh, no.
Grindelwald
He primed a crime.
He primed a crime.
Oh, Paul, I'm gonna trust you on this because you have a memory. You have a working memory. And look, I've got nothing, so I'm gonna go with crimes, Paul.
Oh, I'm afraid it was primes. It was.
It's always primes.
It was primes second. Okay, Ruth Horrocks is our foreman. She was in Men in Black.
Okay.
Men in Black International. This, and then also a crime or prime. But in which one did she play? Parisian of Crime or Prime.
Oh, that has to be crime.
Yeah, it's crime.
That's crime.
That's a crime. That's a crime.
She's not. I don't think Paris was destroyed in The Last Night, so she couldn't be there and be like, "Hey, nice titties."
Not memorably. It could have been in a cutaway.
Michael Bay.
Wasn't Paris destroyed in a cutaway in Armageddon? So it's not beyond Michael Bay to just cut to Paris being destroyed. Horrocks did play NASA worker in The Last Night. Very progressive. Good for her. No, she didn't. Sorry, I was reading something else. That she plays Polo Guest in The Last Night.
No.
God forbid. That brings us on to our final one, Richard Price, who is a 6-man, having appeared in Holmes and Watson, Men in Black International, Doolittle Dis, and Crimes and Primes. But was it Crimes or Primes where he played Parisian Muggle?
Oh gosh. No, I don't trust you at all at this stage. So
rightly so.
I'm gonna say crimes. I'm fully expecting it to be Assassin's Creed.
Fuck! I fucked it up again. Yeah, that's a crime. So yeah,
nice.
I think you got all of those right. If I was paying attention, which I wasn't.
Sure, 100%.
Well done,
That's
man.
what 3 out of 4 was.
Oh, free to a man, free in the bush, free, yo. Films are shit, mate.
Oh fuck! This film has even worse scores than Goodman on Primal Crimes because it has 9% on Rotten Tomatoes, 31% on Metacritic, and was released straight onto Disney Plus. So I guess we never get to find out if it made money. I don't know how it works. I guess I signed up for it. So somewhere an algorithm has added a +1 to the column of people who signed up to Disney Plus, immediately watched Artemis Fowl, and then probably didn't do anything else with it for a month.
Oh gosh, you need to give it at least 4 stars, Paul. You give it a 5 and everything's going to go wrong.
No more than 4. Oh Christ! So Paul, you essentially David Bowie.
Deterp.
Yep. What's one thing about Disney's Artemis Fowl that made you want to grunt like a pair of hippos with a throat infection?
The opening was suitably dramatic, I thought.
Dun dun dun.
Serious crimes.
Serious
afoot,
crimes.
Everyone.
There was a media frenzy here, says one of the members of the media frenzy. And I like the idea that if you listen carefully, you'd hear everyone saying the same line. Media friend.
I meant specifically the opening credits because it's dark music and pictures of things Shakespearean style text on the screen.
Oh, I love
Kenneth
that.
Branagh.
There was a dramatic cut to Branagh, if I remember correctly. It was cut straight to. No fade in.
His face.
Yeah. Giving a thumbs up in the corner.
Hello, everyone. Ooh. Yeah, it's great. And I thought, how is this film gonna be bad? It's directed by Kenneth Branagh. It's got by Branagh, and it's got all of this, all of this gravitas with it already. This is gonna be fine.
That sounds awful. Let's talk about what happens in Artemis Fowl.
Oh, fuck me. So, yeah, there's great crimes afoot, but we get news reports from around the world of a mysterious man.
Yeah. And they arrest...
Called Ian Colfer.
And they arrest Minnie Hagrid, which is Josh Gad seemingly doing a Christopher Lambert impression.
With Artemis Sr. gone,
Let's go with backup.
Domovoy knew the stakes couldn't be higher. He knew he would need to bring in some reinforcements. Someone he could trust to watch his back to help protect Fowl Manor.
Yes, I did, as the voiceover narration, which is present throughout. Sometimes at odds with other voiceovers.
Sometimes voiceovering for the voiceover.
Yeah, doing shitty impressions of Colin Farrell. I did turn around at one point and go, is that Christopher Lambert? Oh, wait, no. We had Josh Gad at the beginning. It's definitely Josh Gad. But are you sure? Because...
Christopher. Oh, no.
Oh, thank God. It's Ritalin, Valium. Yeah, and we've got Josh Gad, and he goes, hey, everyone, this is a real cumbersome way of doing this, but page 1 of the script.
Let me fill you in on fucking everything. Because, they arrest Mini Josh Gag. Josh Gags. And
gag Josh Gad.
During the interrogation, I write the sentence in my notes, wow, we're really rocketing through the expositionary dialogue, as if that wasn't going to be the next 90 minutes of my life.
Let me tell you the story of Artemis Fowl.
A story that begins where every great story begins, in a place where magic and wonder still exist. The most magical place on Earth, Ireland, home of Artemis Fowl. Artemis loved Ireland. The sea and the land. Not so much the school. The sea just couldn't meet it. When he was 7, he beat European chess champion everywhere showed in 5 moves. When he was 9, he won the architectural competition to design the Dublin Opera House. When he was 10, he cloned a goat and named it Bruce. He had trust in his unusual kid. He learned his unusual.
Yeah.
Such innocence.
You knew it was going to be, but you just hoped that you'd be happy for once.
I knew I wouldn't, and hoped I wouldn't, because what would I do then?
Yeah.
We cut to 3 days earlier. Oh, I fucking love that, Paul.
That's the best.
Oh, let's find out how we got here.
The only way this gets better is if we have some precocious children in it.
Oh,
and
that's not going to happen.
I just can't wait.
No, that's not going to happen.
Oh.
Wait.
Oh, what?
Oh my God, look at Artemis Fowl!
The problem is that I know the textbook reply to any question you may choose to ask.
The problem is that you don't respect anyone enough to treat them as an equal.
That's ridiculous. I hold several people in the very highest esteem.
Really? Who, for example?
Albert Einstein. His theories were usually correct.
Oh my God, he says that his peers are Einstein and Hawking. And he references that 3 more times in the film. It's really surprising.
I love that. He's like a mini Sherlock, or a mini House, or a mini Tony Stark, or just a mini anyone who's been on television in the past 10 years.
He's a mini Russell Howard.
I love it.
He's all full of it. It's full of spunk and beans. And and he's acting up in school. His dad is Colin Farrell, and Colin Farrell, he don't have any GCSEs.
I didn't have none. You go to school, son. You do right by me. So, yeah, he's in school, which he doesn't like being very much. He's more into his extreme sports. Whoa! He loves the surfing and the mono ball land surfing.
Catching mono.
Yeah, catching mono. Fuck yeah, that's the coolest thing. He returns home after a disappointing day at school in which he turns out he's brilliant, but has trouble relating to other people. Ah.
Oh, no.
Where did you get this ingenious characterization from, Kenneth Branagh? He goes home and we get the narrator say that Artemis Sr., who is Colin Farrell, taught him all he knew about fairies.
Artemis Fowl Sr., a dealer of antiques and rarities, and just about every Irish fairy tale you might care to imagine. Except that you didn't have to imagine. For Artemis Sr. taught Artemis Jr. everything there was to know about the leprechauns and the banshees and the sprites and the goblins. So much so that you might even have thought that Artemis Sr. believed in the legends of the little people. He certainly shared his passion with his son on the rare occasions when he wasn't away from home. But while he was there, he was absolutely determined to have Artemis know all that could be known about the fairies.
Oh, brilliant. How great it would be to see that. To have that inferred through storytelling. That would be good. Could have like a conversation, like a human moment, they bond.
You know what? That actually would be.
That would actually be quite a good way of doing that.
Oh, fuck.
Wait, better than having the narrator just tell us? It wouldn't be as quick. Oh, well,
how would you know?
Yeah.
No, wait. How would you know? If the narrator didn't come in to say that this
is
is what they were doing, then how would you know
Yep.
that that's what they were doing?
I got it. Sorry, I wasn't thinking. That's it.
It's all right, man. It happens to the best of us. We've all stared too long in the Josh Gad.
Well, look, I've got a premise for you. The dad is a bit of a workaholic who needs to go away on mysterious business.
Okay.
See, can you follow? I mean, it's a whole new concept in movie making.
Wait. Let me just... The dad has to go away on... Okay, yeah, I can get it. I can envision it now.
And the son is perfectly fine with that. Oh, wait. No, he feels like he's being abandoned. Oh, my God. Maybe we could retroactively fit this into every story that's ever been told.
Jeez. I mean, we can at least get the dad to come in and shoot a cameo so we can slot in some scenes with him later on.
Oh, yeah, sure. We can get him for 12 minutes.
Yeah, okay.
He could, as he's walking on his way to the next Grindelwald film, we can catch him for a bit of Artemis Fowl.
Oh God! I just heard you do a pun. Listeners, we've been doing this off air all week. I said Artemis Bowels once, and then I said Shartemis Bowl, and I said Fart Mist Bowels.
Love it.
Sign me up to the bloody Growny ad, everyone.
It's been like living with the Viz, and I've loved every second of it. Now, Gad then takes this opportunity to introduce us to the butler, and that's as good as allowing him to do that through acting and interaction with the other characters.
He was in Game of Thrones, Paul. He's too good. He was the guy who wanted to make Daenerys my wife, and he had nothing in the vault. A lot of X's in his name.
Love that. At this stage, the dad gets kidnapped by the villain of the piece, and I have to make the note. That's the voice we're going with.
Artemis Jr., I presume. I have your father. Your father stole something from me and hid it. My enemies have prevented me from retrieving it myself. You will do so on my behalf. Find the Aculos so you will never see him again.
Yeah, cool.
For our villain. Great.
Yeah.
Ooh. Uh-oh.
Chilling. It's not too far off Judi Dench's voice in this.
You've seen the news. The Aculos is still missing. Cal, Virgo, B Squad, C Squad, you're all on triple night duty downtown.
Which did make me think, are they?
Oh my God, reveal! Oh my God, reveal! Spoilers!
So cut to Judi Dench. She's king of the elves. The fairies. King of fairies, sorry.
Fucking elves! There's so much wrong with that. She's the fucking Prime Minister of Unicorn Land or some shit.
She's in Fairyland. It's a multi-species, multicultural, multi-generational, but hierarchical system where they employ young children fairies to go off on jaunts, but don't give them too much responsibility. They just bust their balls of it.
Yeah, the young fairies who are in fact in their 80s, they just look like children, it seems. But
True.
And I love the segue into this world because Artemis Fowl is looking at a picture of a hole and says, but fairies aren't real, are they? And zoom into the hole whilst Josh Gad tells us, yes, they are. Oh, great.
Yeah.
I wish Artemis Fowl could hear you.
Time to believe in fairies. But they're not real. Are they?
But as Artemis would soon find out, they are very real.
Hi everyone, it's Josh Gad here. We've had a lot of fun. I don't want anybody to get any wrong ideas about what's gonna happen or what isn't gonna happen. Let me just tell you, it's gonna be fine.
Look, I saw that movie, A Monster Calls, and that other movie, I Kill Giants, and I just want to make sure that you understand that there are real monsters in this one, guys. It's not a metaphor for your mother dying or anything like that.
I've seen Monster. I've seen Monsters. None of these are going to be useful going forward.
I've seen Monsters, Inc. Put it out of your mind. Forget I even mentioned it.
Forget it. Just forget it all.
Although, it's kind of similar in the following ways. And whilst this is going on, the characters are just stood waiting for their scene to start.
This is lame.
Look, we get introduced to Holly Short, who is a member of the Lower Elements Police Reconnaissance Team.
Great.
Who
have the same costume team as the original Thor behind them, I think.
Fantastic. It's clearly Branagh himself. But hang on. Lower Elements Police Reconnaissance Team. What? What's the acronym? LEP Recon. Oh, fuck off.
You absolute...
It's leprechaun.
Dirtbags.
I could imagine myself being charmed by that in a better context, but I was furious when I figured that out.
Oh, God, I think even if I'd have read that in a Terry Pratchett book, I'd have gone, oh, come on, Tez.
Come on, Tez.
Come on, Tell.
Come on now. This isn't going to fly. But Holly Short and Hagrid have an actual conversation about non-plot stuff, about character stuff. I didn't know what movie I was watching, and I didn't know what we were meant to be feeling.
Officer Short, good to see you.
What are you in for this time, Mulch?
Tunneling and entering. Put in a good word for me, will you? You know I'm an artist.
Yeah, a con artist.
Artists are. Great artists are never understood. Hey, you and I would make a great team, you know. Me cracking safes, tunneling into banks. You watching my back with your tiny but effective fairy weapons.
That's your plan?
Less of a plan, more of a lifestyle choice. By the way, this your wallet?
Stop picking my pockets.
Think of my children, Holly.
You don't have children.
Not yet.
Therefore, didn't care. It passed my Bechdel test, though, so that's all I care about. So Josh Gad is a giant dwarf. And,
yes, he is.
Very good at, unrealistically good at pickpocketing a tiny girl.
Rummaging around in her lower quarters.
Yeah. So...
He's going to prison for being a bad dwarf.
Yeah.
And all the other dwarfs don't like him because he's big. Which I think later on it's actually revealed he might be a fairy because he's got those ears, but I don't know. I didn't care.
You don't even know, Paul. I just don't want to.
That's literally the first time I thought of the question, and I immediately didn't want the answer. So
immediately put it out of mind.
He is, however, in narration from 3 days in the future, maybe it's 2 by now, going to describe another couple of characters to the audience. We've got Butler's niece.
There was only one person he knew who fully understood tactical reconnaissance, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and the complicated mind of a 12-year-old. Another 12-year-old. His niece, Juliet Butler.
Who does nothing. And then a centaur man who you could literally learn everything about by seeing that he is a centaur man.
Foley, fairy tech genius, and centaur.
But
never mind, we're going to get about 15 minutes of footage of him later on.
Here's some of this guy's incredible backstory. I'm Josh Gad, and I just want you to know about this great script that was written. They wanted a lot of it to be context-heavy and through performance, but I decided against it, and I've decided to just read the script. I hope you don't mind I'm starting 20 minutes in. I'll probably catch up.
My MO is basically if all of my scenes of me doing this, then they can't cut all of it. Some of it is going to be kept in.
They have to pay an extra amount if I say 10,000 words in this movie.
It's movie law. So I just want everyone to know at this stage, we've met a lot of cool characters along the way. None of them are going to die, okay?
No one's going to die. I haven't read the book. The director hates them. You're not going to have anything spoiled. You can go home and read them. It's going to be a whole new experience for you and your family.
Thanks, Josh Gad. So, Holly Short, she's not given as much responsibility as she wants.
Yeah.
Possibly because her dad's a filthy traitor.
No! Yeah, she wants to clear his name because he died picking a butt. And there's nothing worse for fairies than doing that. Picking it all up.
He did a real Mel Gibson he did a real Lethal Weapon. And no one stands for that anymore.
Not anyone. At which point, at some point, we cut back to Artemis Fowl, who is who reads the line, he says the line, "The fairies will help us." Wait, you believe in them now? There's been no scenes with you since you said they don't exist.
I know it's hard because we didn't have we didn't get Josh Gad actually explaining that he did believe in them.
Yeah.
But they did helpfully, and I know again they didn't signal it with Josh Gad, but we had 1 minute of him and Colin Farrell walking on a bit of grass with Colin Farrell going, "What do you do if they try to look in your eyes?" Fucking stab him out. That's my boy. So they discussed it theoretically.
They did discuss it, but that was before the line "they don't exist," which does imply that he's just been humouring his dad and his crazy bullshit for the last however many years. What do you do, son, when a fairy locks you in a magical time circle? Oh, I don't know, fucking dad. Do I use the piss wand? No, the piss wand is only effective against trolls.
Or all this film was shot out of sequence. And they just sort of threw it into the air like they'd won the millions and thought they'd try their luck.
Who the fuck
However
knows?
it landed.
Well, the next scene that lands in that pile of rags is that an Italian wedding takes a very long time to notice a massive troll throwing people around.
Yeah, crazy Italians.
It picks up a little girl and chucks her. And our hero, Holly Short, saves the girl and puts her down and tries to help her. Holly Short. And she's trying to help her. And she says, but the girl, she's injured. She says as the troll is continuing to throw men across the room.
Do not use magic on that human. Do you read me?
She's hurt.
Murder countless men and women.
Ah!
This girl!
I think she sprained her wrist.
What do I do now, Josh Gad? She looks up at the sky.
Oh, jeez. The characters need my help now. Maybe they just stop time? Like the fairies do? Except for a record playing some appropriate music.
Look, it's a good thing nobody dies here. And
no one dies because the fairies can just stop time and resolve any situation they might encounter ever, I guess.
Yeah. They do that. I was about to say, great, that scene over. That was pointless. But actually, no. This is how she flies away for some reason, and then she gets shot in the neck by Artemis Fowl.
She decides to go off to the exact place where she knows that she can pick up a clue about her father. She can fly across continents in 5 minutes. And thank God she does that, because it is the only thing that moves the plot on.
The only thing.
If she hadn't done that, Fowl would have stayed in his library reading with his butler staring at a tree just for the whole movie.
Which would have been fine.
Which would have been... So long as Josh Gad can tell us a better story whilst it's happening, I'd be okay with that.
Hey, do you want me to tell you about the time I went to Vegas with my buddies?
It's kind of X-rated, so maybe ask the kids to leave the room.
Josh Gad's quickly becoming Krusty the Clown. Oh.
Aye. But why did they send her to deal with it? Incidentally, the reason this happened is a troll broke out and attacked a wedding, so they sent a fairy to deal with it. Why did they send her? The disobedient one who just asked for time off to investigate her father's disgrace. Send someone else. Ugh. Anyway.
Judi Dench is really riding out. She's 5 days from retirement, mate. She's working. She works for the government.
Fuck.
It's a sure thing. Yeah, she's waiting for that pension.
This is a very dangerous mission. We're going to send you. Were you pointing at me? Sure.
Yeah, whatever. Woohoo!
Woo!
She goes off, shot in the neck, put in a cage.
In spite of the fact that she can fly quicker than the sound, they managed to hit her in the neck with a dart.
It does cause a sonic boom, which reminds Josh Gad of the crazy time he had playing Sonic and shooting up with his friends.
Yeah.
Josh Gad's an awful man. With her in jail, in Artemis Fowl's house, she tries to do her crazy elf eye tricks, fairy eye tricks.
Don't
Sorry,
worry.
I can't tell the difference between the two of them, Paul. I swear to God, some of my best friends are elves. No, fairies. Fuck.
None of that's going to come up again. It's just there to justify, I guess, why our main characters wear sunglasses throughout the whole thing. Judi Dench says the line, "Get the 4-leaf clover out of here." And that's an amazing line, because it brought me out of the movie. And when I say that, I don't think that's ever happened to me before. People have said it to me, and I've kind of gone like, yeah, great. And I think I may have said it, but I don't think I ever truly understood what it meant until that line. Because immediately on that line, I was so irritated by it. And so just unimpressed that I immediately felt like I was watching a bunch of people in a set wearing costumes saying lines that had been written by a focus group. And I don't think that's ever truly happened as viscerally as that before.
Really? That's interesting.
That broke not just the fourth wall. Every wall suddenly became not a wall anymore. And I ceased to believe in walls.
it became a 5-dimensional space, and you started seeing those scenes where you were trying to tell your daughter to convince you to stay. But no, you just had to go and do that film podcast, Paul. Weirdly, I had that in Civil War when they're all running at each other, all the Avengers. Going, then I my brain went, it's just people in costumes running at each other. Oh, no, but I like this film. Yeah, but I hate you, Paul, so what are you going to do about it? Shut up, brain.
I was just like, this is like me as a kid smashing my characters together, which unfortunately is also like Artemis Fowl, because I would sometimes have Superman sat in a library for 15 days.
He's got to learn about the bad guys.
He's got to. How else is he going to fight them?
Oh, fuck me. So Judi Dench sends all of the elves after Holly Short.
Yeah, okay, so the angels all storm the place, and they decide to fight them out in the open. Why? We later find out they can't even come into the house.
There's just a lot of nonsense around all of this.
Oh,
and
God.
It confused me. There's an action scene in there where what's the guy's actual name? The butler's name. I mean, his name's Butler in the movie, but Nonzo.
Oh, what, his real actor name?
Yeah.
Nonso Anozzi.
He's just fighting off things, and I don't know a single thing that's going on until it's already happened.
Yeah. It's great.
And then they send in Mini Hagrid after him.
Well, they do.
And Judi Dench goes, no fairies are going to come in. He didn't say anything about dwarves. And it cuts to Josh Gad, who goes,
Remember what I said about not underestimating the kid? Well, here's exactly why. The next piece of his plan was set in motion. Knowing the fairies couldn't enter Foul Manor, he forced their hand and set the stage for the entrance of the true hero of our tale.
The kid's plan was fiendishly clever. He just had to get me in the house because he knew the truth about dwarves.
Don't worry about it, everyone.
Yeah.
It's not actually going to be a problem. It's going to be fine.
Don't
he
worry.
already knows.
All part of this plan. Don't you worry about our hero, everyone. It's great. Hey, have you seen this Walkman that I took off of her earlier? You might not have seen it. I was pretty sneaky when I took the Walkman off her, but we wanted to do a sort of Deadpool Guardians of the Galaxy thing, so I did. And here it is. Why do fairies have Walkmen? Oh, you're ahead of me there, little buddy. I can't answer questions like that. Just know that there was a Walkman, and now they're coming to get me, even though any of the other dwarves probably would have been able to tunnel as well. And it's not like I'm particularly subtle when I do it. I fucking smash things up and yell a lot and burp. I'm really obvious as a presence.
And do I fart dust out of my ass at the same time? That's what I got from the imagery there.
But before that, I'm just going to improv a bit with Judi Dench.
I actually don't know your first name. Let me guess. Brittany. I'm way off, aren't I? Has anyone ever told you you're like David Bowie? If David Bowie were a fairy? So essentially, you're David Bowie? Do you think the humans will ever find out he was one of us?
Hey everyone, there is a magical device that everyone's been trying to get this whole time. It's like a heart of magic or some fucking thing, and it's in a safe in Artemis Fowl's house, but nobody knew it.
Because Artemis Fowl Sr. Has been captured by the bad guy.
Yeah,
and they need the Aculus. Aculus.
The Havulus. And that's locked up in a safe that only dwarves can open, and so he had to trick a dwarf into opening it, and then immediately get that dwarf to join their side, which he does instantly.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Don't worry, everyone. I'm actually on his side.
Just in case.
For reasons that haven't been explained to me.
Just in case there was any tension at all, and any concern for the character's well-being. Don't worry about it. We got this. This is a movie. None of us are real. We're just actors. None of this is actually how I got shot, but no, look, it's fine.
Fucking hell. So, at this point, the fairies are going to introduce the troll from earlier into the house to have an action sequence.
Great.
Decide to do this by firing him into the house in a sort of trebuchet-style mechanism, or more like a ballista. Not smashing him through a wall and nearly knocking him out. Great. They're sending in their greatest warrior. Oh.
Huh.
Did it hit anyone? I don't think we're using these warriors right.
Quite you, whatever you are. I'm a fairy.
Like you.
You are too.
Am I? Oh, fuck me, is this dumb. So, our strong, fearless fairy soldier gets stuck in a chandelier for most of the fight. She eventually gets out and jumps around a bit, and they kill the troll by dropping it to its death. Unfortunately, killing Butler. No! Oh, she brought him back to life.
Oh, he's fine.
So even death is off the table.
Yeah.
as a thing to worry about. We can reverse time, resurrect anyone who dies. Nothing is ever wrong, everyone.
No one ever dies. Hey, kids. No one ever dies.
Not really. Except one guy, because at the point when... There's one guy who dies, because at the point when the time trouble bubble that they put up, is that there's time bubbles that like freeze time, and they've put one around Artemis's house to no effect. It starts to fall apart and collapse. At which point, a guy who fell out of his boat at the point when it started is clumsily picked up by Holly Short and chucked back into his boat, which then proceeds to plummet out of frame.
100 meters back to the ocean.
Fate unknown, unexplored.
Yeah. He's dead.
Yeah. So long, guy.
Oh, fuck. We hardly knew ye, really.
At this stage, Holly Short puts on the Infinity Gauntlet and thinks really hard and snaps her fingers and is able to bring back the 50% of the population of the universe that were wiped out. By which I mean she picks up the magical thing, snaps her fingers, and the dad comes back, because those are similar stakes.
Yeah. Dad's fine.
Oh no, where is he? Oh, there he is.
Oh, I was in the next room.
Next,
hey guys, it's pretty tough times here in the movie. We thought he was going to be in this room. He's in the next one. I know it's hard, but it's a long hallway in a mansion. But he's going to get there. Okay, he's going to see his dad. He's going to give him a hug. Everything's going to be fine. He's going to say, "I'm sorry that I ruined Christmas."
Yeah. The kid's like, the dad's like, "How did you save me? I just stayed in a library and read for like days, and then eventually the story came to me." Oh.
But look at a tree.
Actually,
really Josh Gad did most of the heavy lifting.
Thanks, Josh Gad. Don't worry about it. I was always going to make sure this ended well for all of you.
Including, once we've had the ending with Holly Short getting evidence that her dad was a hero, and then being allowed to investigate every single location on this list to restore her dad's good name.
Yay. Which her team of nobodies is really happy about. They give her a round of applause.
Yeah, I know, it's amazing. My version of the film starts cutting out every 5 seconds at this stage, and which it had been doing for about 25 minutes, and then when we get to the end of the film, there's a little bit. Josh Gad finishes his interrogation where he's like, "Guys,
we're all caught up.
I told you so many times that just don't worry about it, okay? It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine." And then a fucking helicopter bursts the roof open. He climbs up a ladder. They're all flying off. They're all wearing shades. They're all walking coolly around towards the camera. Bam, bam, bam. And that's it.
And Artemis Fowl informs us that he is a criminal mastermind, because apparently that's the premise of the books that Kenneth Branagh didn't like.
Thought was ridiculous.
Thought was not entertaining. Fuck me, that actually sounds like a good premise. An evil 12-year-old kid who's a criminal mastermind who does like loads of shady shit and gradually grows a conscience. I mean, there's still the potential there for it to be a shitty Sherlock ripoff, but it sounds better than what we got.
So yeah, my problem with this was...
Yeah.
When I was studying on a creative writing...
Oh, yeah.
When I was doing an MA in creative writing, before I quit because everyone was a square and they were like, holding me back, man. There was a lot of disdain for YA fiction. A lot of anti-YA fiction sentiment there, and a lot of people scoffing. And you know, something that never really bothered me. The kids who read Jane Eyre when they're 12 are always going to do that anyway. Right. And if it means more kids are going to read when they're, more kids are going to read, then that's great. This film is what people like that think YA is. It seems it's done with the same sort of disdain of, oh, kids like any old shit. YA is not real. It's not real books. We can just do whatever. And it just feels like when you've got something like The Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Which is just such a great series.
Yeah.
And just so well realised as well. You know, Artemis Fowl is an insanely popular series, and it's just been brought to screen with the least regard. Yeah,
and they've made it so much more conventional. Every change is to make it more digestible as a thing.
More vanilla.
Yeah, exactly. And it's, I mean, my complaints are much more sort of purely cinematic, which is just, I mean, do you remember back when we were doing Doolittle and I said... No, nor do I. But somebody told me that I said that I was looking forward to...
Josh Gad.
Josh Gad informed me by his helpful voiceover of my life that what I said was, I am looking forward to reviewing some stuff that is bad in a very modern way. And we've gotten that. Doolittle and this share similar problems. And are actually the opposite problems of Like a Boss. Namely, that we just... Like a Boss sacrificed any sense of structure to just meandering scenes. This is perfunctory. It's a plot that they've decided is important and is very dull, incidentally, and they have sacrificed all character, all emotional investment. And Rise of Skywalker kind of falls into this too. I wrote a review for Screen Mayhem of Artemis Fowl in which I described this as being the real scourge of 21st century movies, because it really is the big problem in a lot of these movies, which is just racing through it and never giving a sense of place, time, or character.
Yeah.
You know, the DC movies used to be like this too. You know, Bats v Soups and...
Yeah. It's like it's a studio obligation, and by God, the studio's going to make this fucking film.
Yeah.
It's like it feels like in the 50s or 70s, if this would have been the case, it would have just fallen through.
I mean, you'd hope so, but just watching it, I just think, why is it important for me to know this? This isn't a history class. You know, I don't have to at some point demonstrate an active knowledge of why the fairies are at war with whatever the fuck. You only need to tell me stuff that will aid my enjoyment of the character's journey. And the idea of doing exposition instead of a character's journey is insane. And you can't tell me they didn't realize they were doing it. You don't have any scenes of two characters speaking which doesn't further the plot, or like involve plot elements, or deliver new information to the audience. And, you know, you might think that's efficiency of storytelling, but, you know, fucking a stool is efficient. A chair is good and comfortable and enjoyable.
Yeah. Well, this is it. It's you know, we were discussing the merit of trailers and whether trailers can be considered art. I would say most trailers are probably more artful than Artemis Fowl is.
Probably the trailer for Artemis Fowl.
Yeah, probably. They managed to just condense it into a meaningful vignette. And I mean, you're completely right, as ever, on every subject. But
fuck yeah.
Instead of having those moments where you believe that they could be friends, or want them to be friends.
Yeah.
Every single scene in this movie is just they need to be friends at this stage.
Yeah.
So now they're friends.
Yeah.
And all that happened up till then is she tried to mesmerize him.
Yeah.
And get out.
Yeah.
And we've been through this so many times with voiceover and story over character.
Yeah.
That it just feels redundant saying it at this stage, because it feels like I'm talking to the kid who refuses to learn despite every help given him.
Yeah.
Look, this is Kenneth Branagh, and you did point out this morning that he directed Thor, which I forgot, and just now makes perfect sense, because I can't think of a more lackluster movie in the Marvel series. Maybe at least Thor 2 was stupider.
It had better production value, I felt. It looked better.
The second one or the first one?
The second one. The second one looked better, I felt. It had Asgard
was
felt
in it.
like more of a set. And by that point, they had gotten into what Marvel movies are. And so they were able to follow a template, which ultimately the template was more entertaining than, you know, what they tried to do with Thor. I'm looking at his filmography. He has had much more success as an actor, I think. He did some good stuff back in the day. He did a great adaptation of Much Ado About Nothing with Emma Thompson. He did, I think, a pretty good adaptation of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. I know it was divisive. And of course, his Hamlet and Henry V are considered definitive. But recent years, Jack Ryan, Shadow Recruit. Do you remember that one with Hemsworth? No, Chris Pine. That was it. As the
that was okay.
That was bland.
Which one was Tom Cruise? Is that Jack Reacher?
That's Jack Reacher. Yeah, Jack Ryan is Clear and Present Danger, and the other one, the one who used to be played by Harrison Ford, and I think is also Hunt for Red October or something.
Christ. Well, he's working with scripts with Shakespeare, and he's
true.
Fully familiar with this. It from what I can gather, his niece gave him this book, and he read it and loved it and thought he'd do it.
Loved it, but couldn't relate to its main character or the central premise.
I mean, I understood the character, but I don't think anyone else would. And it does. I do think the movie shows a certain disdain for its audience.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, a very marked disdain for its audience.
Oh, you know
clearly,
what?
Because the film is just such a pandering, hand-holdy piece of tedium.
God, he directed Murder on the Orient Express, which is a movie I quite liked and did a fairly good job of telling a very complicated story, largely through dialogue and, you know, visually. So
it really did. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's frustrating. This one. There's my X-Men pitch. That shouldn't be here. It's just it's frustrating that my documents.
Look, we can just get into your X-Men pitch instead.
Let's do that instead. This is all going to be fine. You guys are having a great time. Don't worry about it. The Pauls are going to remember what it is they're meant to be talking about. I can't do Josh Gad voice anymore. It hurts.
I know, same. It sounds like they're fucking stupid, but trust me, they know. They know exactly what they should be doing right now. And that's probably winding up this discussion. It's going nowhere.
Yeah, fuck it. Let's do that. It's a bad film in a way that I feel is exemplary of a problem with modern films. And I wish that more people could learn from it. That this is exactly what I don't like in movies. It's a world that doesn't feel real. There's also the fact that you've clearly got a very deep and involved mystical world from the books, but it's skin deep here. Most of the rooms are just dark, small rooms that you don't get a sense of.
I got the impression that we were watching the Marx Brothers at the end of their career refusing to be in the same shot as one another, because there were so few shots where we just got a sense of where we were.
Yeah.
Just sort of aggressive close-ups on everybody's faces.
Yeah.
So we didn't have to worry too much about the scenery.
Yeah.
And the same sort of disdain just bleeds through into the acting as well. It was just so wooden, and some of the dialogue is just delivered robotically.
Absolutely. One thing is
it's a mass production movie.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's quickfire. Let's get on to positive stuff about this film. Quickfire. Now, I wish I could just explore Fowl Manor, because it outside the external, it looks gorgeous. It's such a beautiful location they found there. Or I don't know, thing they've built. But considering we spend almost the entire movie here by quite a big margin, it's amazing you don't get more of a sense of it and its layout and its character.
Yeah.
Like the geography of it, just a scene like the one from Parasite of a tracking shot going around the house would have done wonders for actually establishing what is where and why we should care about this house. But from the outside, it's pretty.
It would be nice to have a montage of him, this boy genius, just in his pants brushing his teeth. And
talking to his dad about fairies, enjoying his dad's company. Yeah.
Fucking hell. There's a line that really made me laugh, and it wasn't supposed to. It's when Josh goes,
the most magical place on Earth, Ireland.
And I get why Ireland is the most magical place on Earth. I get the lore. But it was the way it was delivered. He might as well have just said Deptford.
Yeah, I know it was a bit crap in an American accent, but I like the nod to Ireland, which is obviously where the books are from, and there are a couple of hints towards Irish folklore. They mention the Book of Kells, for example.
They do, yes.
And I will say, Ireland looks pretty when they're there. It's a very pretty, like the coast looks gorgeous when he goes out to surf at the beginning. Just, oh man, they do a good job.
Special kind of surfing.
Yeah. Love it.
Island surfing.
Island surfing.
Why just island surfing?
Surfing oh fuck, no, I can't do it. I was trying to do a surfing USA, but surfing IRA. Fuck. No.
Bye everyone, that's our careers.
Again. Second time. Right, if I'm allowed another one, because that was kind of one, but Officer Holly Short, as soon as she comes in, I want to like this character. I like the actor they've got playing her, and I like the look of her and the premise of her, that she's like this young girl who's actually a badass cop. It just needed her to have scenes to do that in.
Some scenes, yeah.
Some scenes for her to actually do that, rather than having Josh Gad tell us that she's that.
God, I'd have really appreciated that.
Fuck me.
Oh well. The line, and again, I think it was a Josh Gad line, they cloned a goat and named it Bruce, has a lovely mouthfeel. It's a really nice sounding sentence, and it's got a nice meter to it. Dun, 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 dun.
Love it, sample it. Speaking of good Josh Gad lines, later on, it's just a moment of him slightly breaking character that I appreciated.
You're not a dwarf. No, I am. I'm a dwarf.
The kind of quick way of saying it that I liked.
Ah, cool. As with my intro, I did like the are you laughing at me, dwarf? No, I was just following their social cues. There's a good one too. Again, it felt like just that's why they got Josh Gad to play this, because he's good at delivering those offhand lines.
He is. It does have the slightly disconcerting aspect of a lot of films from my youth, which is we got an American to do the comic relief in this film that is otherwise fairly British. you know, in its casting. And so, like,
True.
there's a moment. Oh, what is it he says? Oh, it's humans. I think it's one of my good things, actually, because the line did amuse me. Oh, yeah, the humans, they're afraid of gluten. And that just seemed like such an Americanism. I know, you know, gluten is a concern everywhere, but it just seemed like such an Americanism in and amongst this sort of Irish folktale thing.
True. They could have had...
He is good at delivering that.
Dara O'Brien. He's a tall man. He'd have played a very giant dwarf.
That would have been quite good.
Yeah. Oh, well. Or Stuart Lee. Oh, well. Both are great.
No, I am a dwarf.
I am. Look, I spoke to another dwarf earlier, and he said, pulls out a bit of paper.
That cunt is a dwarf.
In the beginning, I liked Artemis when he's in the principal's office.
Oh yeah,
he's got a bit of a
really?
Need to talk about Kevin vibe about him.
He might be a sociopath.
Yeah, he might be. He might just be a dangerous genius, and I'm happy with this. But then he's just
all I got was little
voice
Sherlock.
cracking.
I just got little Sherlock off of him, you know.
Yeah,
it's just that trope of the sort of socially awkward, brilliant, you know, genius is just getting so tiresome now.
I'm sure it's driving us against experts. It's responsible for Brexit.
Dominic Cummings is a complete Sherlock, I can assure all of you. Let's talk about Judi Dench.
My name is Commander Root. What's your name?
Artemis Fowl.
So that explains it. You fowls have been giving us trouble for centuries. Where's your thieving father these days?
Oh, how did you find her? Let's start with that. Let me deflect.
Pretty cringy, like the rest of the film.
Yeah, okay, pretty cringy. I agree. And it's a weird voice she's doing. She's doing a gruff Irish, I guess. I mean, if you've seen one of her best roles, Philomena, you know that she can do a convincing Irish accent.
Yeah.
But here she's going for like gnarled kind of heavy smoker Irish.
Yeah.
And a couple of times it did kind of work for me. Just because I think the first time it was so unexpected that she would talk that way. You know, it's Judi Dench, you know, after all. And she comes out and speaks like this, and that amused me. And then I have to agree with Clarice Loughrey that I did get a chuckle when she emerges and there's this big dramatic fanfare and a slow push in, and she shows up and she's looking all gnarled and kind of tough.
Top of the morning.
Oh, I wish that had made me laugh.
I could so easily see it being cringy, very easily, but it just about got me the right way.
That's nice. I have one thing of hers I really liked, and one thing that also made me laugh a lot is at the end when she's like, "I want you to go and investigate all the names on your father's list." And
we got some great voices for you this week, everyone.
The vocal range in this episode, everyone. And then Holly, flustered, starts stammering thanks. She's like, "Oh, thanks, I'll absolutely do everything," and she just goes, "Go on," in a sort of "you bloody scamp" way, and that was charming. A bit of a smile in her eyes at the end there, and but then the bit that really fucking made me laugh is when the fairies are like the flotilla in full force is advancing on the Irish coast, and the camera zooms into the front one, and it's her in the ship, and it really looks like an old biddy who's sitting on several books, driving 30 miles an hour down the fast lane.
Excellent.
All I could think was someone behind her just going, "Go away, you stupid bitch."
You've got to find joy where you can with these films, everyone.
You really have, and I think at 200 episodes, we're really getting better at it.
Oh, God. Okay, if your tiny white master is going to send you to go stare at a tree for ages, pretty nice tree. The tree that he has to go stare at is really pretty, and its establishing shot is just, quite striking. As a piece of lovely countryside. Yeah.
Look, he's the luckiest man I know.
We can all agree on that.
I like the use of swordfish camera for the time freeze. the 360 degree.
Oh right, I've got
shot.
you. I was thinking because I've recently learned that kind of distorted, heavily middle thing that they keep doing in The Favourite, for example, where like all the edges like bend around, is called fisheye vision. So I was like, what do you know about this really super specific kind of fisheye vision? That's swordfish vision, very distinct from cod vision.
Yeah.
I was like, oh no, movie swordfish, got you. Yeah, that kind of slow motion panning around as if a ball-bearing bomb had just exploded. Love it.
Yes.
Same scene, actually. I did quite like it when the troll just grabbed a girl and fucking threw her.
Here you go, you twat.
Just chucks her at the ferry. That took me by surprise, and that was good. I liked it.
Threw her right over the piazza. Nightmare. I liked the goblins wearing puffer jackets and hoodies. It felt a bit off coming from Kenneth Branagh, but I like the idea of it. Of having it was like bright.
God, it's wacky. It's like Taika Waititi, something he might do in one of his better 4 movies. Oh, you've already mentioned the time slowing. I did just like the time slowing. It was a cool effect when they did it, and some good special effects went in there. Oh, sorry, I made the note on that top of the morning line. Who did she say that to?
What was that, miss? Oh, nothing. Fucking 4-leaf clover.
That would have been very funny if he were here. I thought he was. Okay, yes, here's one. Josh Gad, his whole deal is that as a dwarf, he's meant to be really good at digging. And the way that it turns out he digs is by unhinging his jaw and making it all big in a really bad CGI shot. And then just, like, chewing through the ground. And the sequence of him doing that is quite bizarre in a way that I liked. Because it's black, pure blackness. And you just get, like, these frenzied glimpses of Gad's manic-looking face with detached jaw. And the sound of him just munching. Like,
yeah.
And it was, somewhat comedic how horrifying that was.
That was my last one, actually. I really like the visual idea of it. Even though it was CGI, I still liked how it looked when he dislodges his jaw and makes it enormous. That was, particularly good.
Okay, I quite liked Short just slapping Fowl. I just could have done with more of that. I don't want to be mean to the kid. You know, the kid did fine with what he was given. He should have been given a more interesting role.
Should have been given a second take.
A couple of times. His persona would have been so much more tolerable and understandable if he actually was an evil genius. All he manages to do, really, is trick them into opening a safe with a troll he could have charmed anyway.
Yeah.
Dwarf, whatever. The really bad guy, the supposed villain of the whole piece, who only really succeeded in kidnapping Colin Farrell and keeping hold of him for a bit. He doesn't do anything else.
Well, at the beginning, we did forget to mention he kidnaps the guy who looks kind of like soft Russell Kane and sends him in to be nefarious and
oh, yes!
Upset power.
They had a sleeper agent which managed to disrupt power exactly once. And I forget to what effect. I think that's what causes the troll to be shot into the house. But anyway, at the very end, they're wearing a cloak throughout, and they've got a stupid voice. But at the very end, they go, no! And a bomb explodes from one episode earlier. But they go, no! And lean back. And as they lean back, their face is like this weird felt thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's got weird folds of, like, some sort of velvet or something. And that was weird and slightly alien in a way that I liked.
Yeah, it looked like something very interesting was happening.
Maybe for the sequel. I've got one left. So at the point where Holly Short has gotten everything she wanted, and she's now going to pursue her father's killers and, try and find this evil one. Just before she walks into the room that's sort of full of the task force that she's now leading. It's a very strange film. She takes a moment, a character moment, if you can imagine such a fucking thing, to be against a wall and just kind of mouth to herself,
Here we go, Dad.
Oh.
Yeah, it's just a little fucking moment where you get an insight into who she is and what her anxieties are and the fact that she needs to psych herself up a bit before she can go face this room full of people. And yeah, it was a thing that a human being might do.
Oh, what did Josh Gad have to say about this?
She was very nervous. No. I can't.
Josh Gad? Oh, he's asleep. Sorry, everyone.
Sorry, everyone. This is my real voice.
My throat really fucking hurts.
Yeah.
This is what we do for you, listeners.
This is how Josh Gad speaks.
When was the last time any of you thanked us?
Now, I forgot to ask the OG team, but have they managed to get in touch in the last 2 hours?
Well, let's start with checking out the OG team on Facebook, where the call was put out on time. Paul Hawkins from Blightbusters.
Paul Hawkins?
He said, no, not this one. It was such a huge letdown after the books. And in not a fake accent, he said some of the CGI was okay. The time bubble looked cool. That's it.
Yeah, the time bubble looked cool. I'll agree with
that. We got some really great Guardian website comment is free level of punning from Ellen Graham and Sean Fleur. Sean, didn't you sit through this train wreck? No, I utterly missed it. With that leprechaun episode, I'm not surprised. What a foul mouth you have. You're never coming on again.
No.
Guys, Baby Beard, you're gone.
My heart hurts more than my throat now.
Get fuck out of my show. For which I mean our show, obviously.
But thank you so much for sending those in. It really means a lot to us that you took the time.
Yeah, thanks so much, guys.
All we can do is say thank you, sincerely, to the OG team.
I really mean it.
I really mean it. And then remember that we've got a segment that I forgot to prepare for. Because I'm going to improvise the one better thing. The one better thing. Shit.
Cool, well, I'll start. Because
please do.
It's hard because, unfortunately, I haven't seen many of the YA movies released in the last 10 years after Harry Potter and the Hunger Games. Apparently, Percy Jackson was well reviewed. I don't know. I don't want to know, frankly.
I can find out now. I've got a month to do it.
There's Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs is a really fun one about a boy invento genius. I'm sure I've recommended this before. I'm really scraping the bottom of the barrel with this kind of thing. But it's a Lord & Miller movie. It's more madcap than Artemis Fowl, and maybe has the ability to be as an animation, but shouldn't really be an excuse, especially from king of the actors, Kenneth Branagh. It's fun. It's funny. It's well made. Yep. It's coherent.
Yep.
Or I don't know. Go watch Kiki's Delivery Service. There's a precocious child there. There's some magic shit in it.
Yeah.
It's a really cool and sort of lesser known Studio Ghibli. Or Pompoko. Pompoko. Watch that.
Watch Pompoko, you pricks. Yeah. Okay, I've got one. I'm gonna go with I'm actually gonna go with Steven Spielberg's BFG. If you let it pass you by, Steven Seagal's BFG. You ain't gonna come down here out of the North Pole, not with these oil permits. Are you left wing or right wing? Doesn't matter. Got guns. Okay.
I kick and punch on both sides.
Fuck them all up. I'm an environmentalist, but I'm not a big fan of those women that you've got. Maybe we could plug up the oil spills with some of these spare dames. So, yeah, the BFG, Roald Dahl's adaptation. If you let this pass you by, if you just thought, oh well, it's another Americanization of a British story, and a big budget version of something that we didn't really need, then I would ask you to reconsider. I think it was very good. It was very sweet. It had Mark Rylance doing mocap and voice for the titular big friendly giant. And
that's lovely.
Yeah, and he was really great in that role. It meanders a bit and it loses its way near the end, but I mean, it's just got a lovely little world to it, and it's got an enchanting sort of idea of the giants trying to avoid being seen by humans, which is something that kind of gets covered in this, but in a very blunt Deus Ex Machina way. Yeah, I think it was really good, and it also lost quite a lot of money. It was a box office bomb, so if we can draw a bit more attention to it, I mean, that's well deserved. It's, Spielberg's been an interesting kind of presence these last 10 years. It's almost as if he's done his big world-changing, groundbreaking stuff, and he's been happy enough to just take on projects that amuse or entertaining him for the past 10 years, and I'd say this is one of them. There's a feeling of sincerity there. It's not a cynical film.
That's great.
Yeah. The one better thing. Okay. How can people find out about the one good thing? One good thing.
Sign up to Disney Plus, and we're releasing there every decade or so. Really, really hot shit. Like, my cat did a jump.
Oh!
Yeah.
That's easily better than Percy Jackson and the cat jumping Jackson.
Anything that's happened to Star Wars in the last 20 years.
Am I right? Bring back Lucas. Non-canon. I want the Zack Snyder cut of The Last Jedi.
Release it.
Yeah.
I want the butthole cut of The Last Jedi. Well,
that's the one
exactly
we
the
got.
Same, am I right?
I think we both did the same shitty thing.
Yeah, nice.
Fuck yeah.
I will high five you when I see you next. For everybody else, high five yourself for a change. Go and check us out on Twitter, Facebook. Answer the call to the One Good team.
Do it, cowards.
Leave us a review on iTunes if you haven't already. That's a really great way of getting the word out. It does something with numbers and robots. I don't really know, but nanobot revolution is coming. So just
fear that.
Yeah, get your 2 cents in now, so they can soup you up with that, and we can all be having a big old mutant fight somewhere in the ether. Very soon.
Feed the revolution.
Yeah, we're on Spotify now. as we have been for months. I'm going to probably stop saying that. And we've got a Patreon as of this year. We've got a Patreon. We've just had our first commentary on pre-rendered video game FMVs, which is great.
Yeah, love those.
It came out very well. We've got another one coming a little later. We've got a pools pitch in the works. We've got the next 50 pools of shade coming out.
Yep.
There's a lot of really, really cool stuff. And next week is a classic poorly defense of Bawley. So.
Oh yeah, we got a defense of coming up. So check back here on the free net to find out what it is we could possibly be defending in this horrible world.
It's not us.
I'm Paul Cynic.
Do you know what? I feel free.
Hey, we're never going to have to watch Artemis Fowl again, unless it makes the bottom 10 and I make us do it in a couple of years. I'm Paul going to make us do it in a couple of years.
I'm Paul just in at number 11.
Remember, the one good thing about Artemis Fowl is that there was a bit where a character reacts to things that have happened. And I think we could all learn from that, especially Kenneth Branagh.